I was between patients. Chart review. The kind of mindless work that lets your brain wander. My phone rang. Dad's name on the screen. We hadn't spoken in 18 months. Not since I'd told him to stop calling. I almost didn't answer. But I'm a doctor, pulmonologist. I save people who can't breathe. It's literally my job. So I answered. Ethan. His voice was wrong, strained, breathless. Chest pain. I recognized the symptoms immediately. Left-sided chest pain, shortness of breath, classic presentation. Call 911, I said calmly. I did. They're coming. But please, I need you. You need the ambulance. They'll be there in 6 to 8 minutes. Ethan, please, I'm scared. I think I'm dying. I leaned back in my office chair, looked at the degrees on my wall, the certifications, the proof that I'd made something of myself despite him. You're scared? I asked. Interesting. What? He was gasping now, real fear in his voice. Do you remember October 14th, 2016? What are you… Ethan, I don't have time. Answer the question. October 14th, 2016. Do you remember that date? No, I don't know, please. I was 16. I had an asthma attack, severe bronchospasm, complete airway obstruction. I turned blue, passed out on the living room floor. You were home. You watched it happen. Silence. Just his labored breathing. Cameron said I was faking for attention. You believed him. Mrs. Chen called 911. The paramedics said 2 more minutes and I'd be dead. That was different. Different how? I'm having a heart attack. And I was suffocating. But you didn't care then. Ethan, please, I'm begging. You know what you said to me in the hospital? My voice was perfectly calm, clinical. The voice I used to deliver bad news to families. You said, glad you're okay. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I should have believed you. Just, glad you're okay. I was wrong, okay? But I need help now. So did I. Ethan, you're faking for attention. I heard his sharp intake of breath. Not from the heart attack, from the words. What? That's what Cameron said. What you believed. So I'm returning the favor. You don't mean that. The ambulance will be there soon. They're professionals. They'll take care of you, unlike what you did for me. Please. I'm your father. Biologically, that's about it. Good luck, Dad. I hung up, set my phone face down on my desk, stared at the wall for exactly 30 seconds. Then I went back to my chart review. Because some lessons take 12 years to deliver. But they're worth the wait. Let me tell you about October 14th, 2016. The day I learned that family isn't defined by blood. It's defined by who shows up when you're dying. I was 16, junior year of high school. Mom had died when I was 10. Car accident. After that, it was just Dad, my older brother Cameron, and me. Except it really wasn't the 3 of us. It was Dad and Cameron. And also me, separately. Like an accessory they'd forgotten about. Cameron was 19. Home from State University on fall break. Full-ride football scholarship. Dad's pride and joy. The golden child who could do no wrong. I was the other one. The asthmatic kid. The burden. The one who developed severe asthma after Mom died and never quite recovered. Dad had remarried by then. Linda. She was nice enough but made it clear her priority was Cameron, her stepson, the football star. Not me, the sick kid who needed expensive medications and frequent doctor visits. I'd had asthma since I was 8, but it got worse after Mom. Stress-induced, the doctor said. I was on daily medications. Carried a rescue inhaler everywhere. Everywhere except that Tuesday. October 14th, 2016. I came home from school around 3:45 p.m. Dad's truck was in the driveway. He worked from home on Tuesdays. Work, being a generous term for whatever he did on his laptop between Fox News segments. Cameron was at football practice, or so I thought. I had homework, English essay about The Great Gatsby. I sat up at the dining room table. Dad was on the couch, beer in hand. 4:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. This was normal. Hey, Dad. Eyes on the TV, that was our relationship, had been for years. I started writing my essay, got maybe 3 paragraphs in when I felt it. The tightness in my chest. If you've never had asthma, it's hard to explain. It's not like being out of breath from running. It's like someone sitting on your chest while you try to breathe through a coffee stirrer. Your lungs just forget how to work. I reached for my backpack. My inhaler should have been in the front pocket. It wasn't there. I'd used it during gym class. Must have left it in my locker. The tightness got worse. That distinctive wheeze starting deep in my chest. I went to my bedroom. I kept a backup inhaler on my nightstand. Empty. I'd been meaning to refill it. Panic started. Not emotional panic. Physical panic. Your body's response when it realizes oxygen isn't coming. I went back downstairs. The wheezing was louder now. Dad glanced over, annoyed. You okay? Inhaler. Empty. Need hospital? He sighed. Just go refill your prescription. Can't breathe enough. Ethan, you're talking. If you can talk, you can breathe. You're fine. That's not how it works. That's not how any of it works. But he'd never bothered to learn. I sat down at the table, tried the breathing techniques they'd taught me. Pursed lip breathing. Slow and controlled. It wasn't working. My lips started tingling. Fingertips going numb. Classic hypoxia. The front door opened. Cameron. Practice had ended early. He walked in sweaty gym bag over his shoulder, looked at me hunched over the table, wheezing, and laughed. Dude, what's your problem? I couldn't answer. Couldn't get enough air. Dad finally looked over. Really looked. Saw me struggling. What's wrong with him? Cameron dropped his bag, walked closer, studied me like I was performing. Then he said it. The words that would echo in my head for 12 years. He's faking. I shook my head desperately. Tried to speak. Nothing came out but a weak wheeze. He's faking for attention, Cameron said confidently. He does this all the time. I didn't. I'd had exactly 3 ER visits that year. All legitimate, all documented. But Cameron had decided years ago that I was dramatic, that I exaggerated my asthma for sympathy. And Cameron's word was law in our house. Dad stood up, walked over to me. Ethan, seriously? Knock it off. I looked at him, tried to communicate with my eyes what I couldn't say with my voice. Help me, please. I'm dying. He saw a teenager seeking attention. Get up. You're embarrassing yourself. I couldn't get up, couldn't move. All my energy was focused on trying to breathe. My vision started going gray at the edges. The wheezing got quieter. Not because I was getting better, because there wasn't enough airflow to make sound. Silent chest. That's what doctors call it. It's the most dangerous phase of an asthma attack. It means the airways are so constricted that air can't move at all. It means you're minutes from death. Cameron was still standing there, arms crossed. He's been pulling this crap since Mom died. Total drama queen. I thought so, Dad said. He actually sounded vindicated, like he'd caught me in a lie. I tried to stand. My legs wouldn't work. Everything was shutting down. Hypoxia does that. Your body prioritizes the vital organs. Everything else gets sacrificed. I fell forward, hit the table, slid off the chair, landed on the floor. My lips were blue now. I could feel it. That cold, numb sensation. I looked up at them, at my father, at my brother. Both standing there, watching, not moving. Cameron shook his head. This is pathetic, dude. Dad pulled out his phone. For a second I thought, maybe, he's calling 911. But no, he was checking a text. From work, probably. My vision tunneled. Gray became black. The last thing I heard was Cameron's voice. See? He's fine, just being dramatic. Then nothing. I blacked out on our dining room floor at 5:03 p.m. Blue lips, not breathing, heart rate dropping. 2 minutes from permanent brain damage. 3 minutes from death. And my father stood there watching. My brother laughed and called me pathetic. What happened next? How I survived? Who saved me? What they said at the hospital? That's a story for later. Right now, all you need to know is this. I died for 2 minutes on October 14th, 2016. And when my father called 12 years later, gasping about chest pain, begging for help, I remembered every second of that day. And I gave him exactly what he'd given me. Nothing. I don't remember what happened next. The blackout, the rescue, the ambulance. I've pieced it together from what people told me later. But here's what I know. At 5:03 p.m., I stopped breathing on my dining room floor. At 5:04 p.m., Mrs. Chen saved my life. She was our next-door neighbor. 62, retired nurse. Walked her Pomeranian, ridiculous dog named Butterscotch, past our house every evening at 5 p.m., like clockwork. That day, she glanced through our living room window, saw me on the floor, blue lips, not moving, saw Dad and Cameron just standing there. She didn't knock, didn't hesitate, just opened our front door and ran in. "What are you doing?" Dad turned, confused. "Oh, hi, Mrs. Chen. He's not breathing." She dropped to her knees beside me, checked my pulse, my airway. "Call 911, now." Cameron started to say something, probably another comment about me faking, but she cut him off. "He is blue. Call 911 or I will." She pulled out her phone, called herself while Dad just stood there. 911, what's your emergency? 16-year-old male, severe asthma attack, unresponsive, cyanotic, not breathing. 447 Maple Street. Send ambulance now. She tilted my head back. Started rescue breathing. 1 breath. 2. 3. Dad and Cameron watched like they were observing a science experiment. The ambulance arrived at 5:11 p.m., 8 minutes from when I'd collapsed. The paramedics told Mrs. Chen later that I'd stopped breathing completely around 5:09 p.m. 2 minutes without oxygen. 2 more minutes, and I'd have had permanent brain damage. 4 more minutes, and I'd be dead. They put an oxygen mask on me, bagged me manually, forcing air into my lungs with a hand pump. Started an IV, hit me with epinephrine, albuterol, steroids. My heart rate came back up around 5:14 p.m. I started breathing on my own at 5:16 p.m. I woke up in the ambulance, confused, terrified, oxygen mask covering half my face, a paramedic leaning over me. "Hey buddy, you're okay. Bad asthma attack. We're taking you to the hospital." I tried to talk. He stopped me. "Don't talk, just breathe. Nice and slow." I looked around. Mrs. Chen was there, sitting beside me, holding my hand. "Your dad's following in his truck," she said gently. Even through the fog and fear, I noticed. He didn't ride with me, even after I'd stopped breathing, even after I'd nearly died. He couldn't be bothered to ride in the ambulance with his dying son. They admitted me to ICU, severe asthma exacerbation with respiratory failure. That's what the chart said. I was on high-flow oxygen, IV steroids, breathing treatments every 2 hours. The pulmonologist came to see me the next morning. Dr. Sarah Kim. I still remember her name. "You're very lucky," she said, pulling up a chair. "Another 2 minutes and we'd be having a very different conversation." "What kind of conversation?" "The kind about brain damage. Or worse." She looked at my chart. "Your father was home when this started?" "Yeah." "And he didn't call 911? I didn't answer, still trying to protect him somehow. "Ethan." Her voice was firm but kind. "You have severe persistent asthma. Do you understand what that means? It's bad? It means every attack is potentially fatal. You can't take this lightly, and neither can your family." She wrote something in my chart. Long note. I found out later she'd documented everything. Flagged it as a potential safety concern. Put it in the system. Dad showed up that afternoon. No Cameron. He'd already gone back to campus. Football practice couldn't wait. Dad sat in the chair beside my hospital bed. Looked uncomfortable. "How you feeling?" "Okay. Doctor says you'll be fine." "Yeah." The monitors beeped. I focused on the oxygen saturation number. 94%. Better than the 76% I'd had in the ambulance. "That was pretty scary," he said after a long silence. "Yeah." More silence. Glad you're okay. That was it. That was the whole acknowledgement. Not, I'm sorry I didn't believe you. Not, I should have called 911. Not, I almost let you die. Just glad you're okay. Like I'd had a minor inconvenience. Like I'd missed the bus or failed a quiz. Not a near-death experience. Dad? I kept my voice neutral. Yeah? Why didn't you call 911 when I said I couldn't breathe? He shifted, looked at the floor. Cameron thought you were faking. You've been, well, pretty dramatic since Mom died. I wasn't faking. I know that now. But you didn't know then. So you just watched me turn blue. I didn't realize it was that serious. I told you I couldn't breathe. What did you think was happening? His face hardened. I'm not a doctor, Ethan. How was I supposed to know? You don't need to be a doctor to call 911 when your kid says they can't breathe. My heart rate spiked. The monitor alarm went off. A nurse came in immediately. Everything all right? Fine, Dad said quickly. Just talking. She checked my vitals. Gave Dad a look that clearly said, calm down or leave. After she left, we sat in uncomfortable silence. I should go, Dad said finally. Let you rest. Okay. He stood, grabbed his jacket, paused at the door. Ethan? Yeah? Try to keep your inhaler with you from now on. Would have prevented all this. Then he left. And I understood. In his mind, this was my fault. For not having my inhaler. Not his fault for ignoring me. Not Cameron's fault for lying. Mine. Mrs. Chen visited every day, brought me books, sat with me when Dad didn't show up. On day 3, she asked the question everyone was avoiding. Sweetheart, are you safe at home? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Physically? Probably. They weren't abusive, just neglectful. Emotionally? I'd never been safe. Not since Mom died. I'm okay, I said. She didn't look convinced. You have my number, day or night. You need anything, you call. I will, thank you. For everything. You don't need to thank me for doing what your father should have done. That stayed with me. I was discharged after 3 days. Mrs. Chen picked me up. Not Dad. He had a work call that couldn't be rescheduled. She drove me home. Made sure I had my medications. 3 new inhalers. Peak flow meter. Written asthma action plan. I put 1 inhaler in my backpack. 1 in my jacket pocket. 1 on my nightstand. Never again would I be without one. Never again would I trust them to help me. Life went back to normal after that. Except normal meant something different now. Cameron came home for Thanksgiving. Never mentioned the incident. Never apologized. Just acted like nothing had happened. At dinner, Dad told everyone about Cameron's football stats. His potential NFL future. How proud he was. Nobody asked about my asthma attack, my hospital stay, my near-death experience. It was like it never happened. Christmas was the same. Big celebration for Cameron's semester. His 3.2 GPA was incredible. My 3.8 GPA got a, "That's nice, honey," from Dad's new wife, Linda. I stopped trying to participate in family conversations. Just sat there. Ate. Left. Nobody noticed. I graduated high school in June 2017. No party, no celebration. Cameron had graduated college that same month. Full family trip to state, hotel rooms, dinner, photos. For my graduation, Dad showed up to the ceremony, took 1 photo, left before the reception. Congrats, kiddo. Proud of you. Gotta get back for a work thing. There was no work thing. He just didn't want to be there. I'd gotten into a decent state school, not Ivy League, not prestigious, but good. And I'd gotten some financial aid. Dad's contribution to my college fund, $0. You'll figure it out, he said. You're smart. Cameron needed the help more with football and all. Cameron's full-ride scholarship apparently still needed supplementing. I worked 2 jobs that summer, saved every penny, moved into a dorm in August. Dad helped me move in, spent 20 minutes in my room, looked around, said nice, and left. Cameron's move-in had been a family event. Furniture shopping, decorating, tears. Mine was a Tuesday afternoon drop-off. I called home once a week that first semester. Dutiful son checking in. The conversations were always the same. How's school? Good. Busy. That's nice. Did you hear Cameron made second string? Always about Cameron. By sophomore year, I called once a month. By junior year, only on holidays. I changed my major to biology, pre-med track. Decided I wanted to be a pulmonologist, not just to help people, but to understand. To never be that helpless 16-year-old again. I worked in the campus pharmacy, then got a job in the university hospital, started as a transporter, moved up to ER tech. I saw things. Parents rushing in with sick kids, terrified, crying, begging for help. That's what parents do, not what mine did. One night, a 14-year-old came in. Asthma attack. Bad one. Blue lips. His parents were screaming for help. Holding him. Sobbing. We got him stable. Albuterol. Oxygen. Steroids. The dad kept saying, "Thank you," over and over. Crying. Hugging his son. I went to the break room after and cried. Because that's what it should have looked like. That's what my dad should have done. But didn't. Senior year, I applied to medical schools. Got into a good program. Not Harvard, but respected. I texted Dad. Got into med school. His response came 3 hours later. That's great. Listen, can you call Cameron? He's upset about getting cut from the practice squad. Needs some support. I stared at that text for a long time. Then I didn't call Cameron. Didn't tell Dad which school I'd chosen. Just stopped trying. Medical school was brutal. 4 years of exhaustion, debt, and doubt. But I loved it, especially pulmonology. Learning about lungs, about asthma, about respiratory failure, understanding exactly what had happened to me that day. Silent chest. Hypoxic respiratory failure. Status asthmaticus. Medical terms for your family let you die. I graduated medical school at 26, top quarter of my class. Dad didn't come to the ceremony. Cameron had a big game that weekend. I walked across the stage alone. Got my white coat. Took a selfie. Posted it to Facebook with the caption, Dr. Ethan Morrison, MD. Got 200 likes from people who weren't my immediate family. Dad commented 3 days later, "Proud of you, son." I didn't respond. I started my residency at a major hospital. Pulmonology and critical care. Long hours. Brutal schedule. But I was saving lives. Kids with asthma. Adults with COPD. People who couldn't breathe. I gave them what I'd needed. Immediate help. Belief. Care. By age 28, I was finishing residency. Had a job offer lined up. $280,000 salary. Major hospital. My own practice. I bought a house. Small. Comfortable. Mine. Dad found out through Facebook. A cousin had tagged me in a congratulations post. He called. First time in 6 months. You bought a house? Why didn't you tell me? Why would I? Because I'm your father. Are you? Silence. What's that supposed to mean? It means you haven't acted like a father in 12 years. Not since October 14th, 2016. Jesus, Ethan. Are you still hung up on that? Hung up? I nearly died. You watched me die. And you never apologized. I said I was glad you were okay. That's not an apology. What do you want me to say? Nothing. I don't want anything from you anymore. I hung up, blocked his number, changed mine a month later. That was 18 months ago. 18 months of silence, of building a life, of saving people who actually wanted to be saved. And then he called. From a different number I didn't have blocked. Heart attack, chest pain, begging for help. And I gave him the same thing he'd given 16-year-old me. Nothing. The same nothing he'd given when I turned blue and stopped breathing. The same nothing he'd given for 12 years of birthdays, graduations, achievements. Nothing. And you know what? It felt fair. Finally, completely fair. My phone started ringing 30 minutes after I hung up on Dad. Cameron. I let it go to voicemail. He called again. And again. 5 times in 10 minutes. Finally, I answered. What the heck is wrong with you? Hi, Cameron. Dad's in the hospital. Heart attack. They said you hung up on him. I did. He could have died. I let that hang in the air for a moment. The irony was too perfect. So could I. October 14th, 2016. What? What are you talking about? My asthma attack. The one where I stopped breathing. Where you told Dad I was faking for attention. Silence. Then, that was 12 years ago. And I remember every second. Do you? I was a kid. You were 19. Old enough to know the difference between faking and dying. This is different. This is real. Dad's in the ICU. My asthma was real. My blue lips were real. My stopped breathing was real. You just didn't care. You're being insane right now. Am I? Or am I being exactly as caring as you were when I was 16? He's our father. He's the man who watched me suffocate and did nothing. That's what he is. You're a doctor, Cameron's voice cracked. You're supposed to help people. I help people who deserve help. People who would help their own kids. I can't believe you. I can't freaking believe you. He could have died because you... He didn't die. The ambulance got there. Just like it got to me. No thanks to either of you. I heard him breathing hard on the other end. Trying to process. Failing. You're going to regret this, he said finally. I regret a lot of things, Cameron. Not helping Dad isn't one of them. I hung up. Blocked his number too. 40 minutes later, Linda called. Dad's wife, Cameron's mother. The woman who'd been around since I was 13 and never once asked how I was doing. How dare you? She was screaming. Actually screaming. Your father is in ICU and you refuse to help him? Hi, Linda. Don't you hi Linda me. What is wrong with you? Is Dad conscious? What? Is he conscious? Yes, but that's not the... Then he's doing better than I was when he ignored me. Oh my God, you're still on about that asthma thing. That asthma thing. Like it was a minor inconvenience. That asthma thing nearly killed me. Dad watched it happen. So did Cameron. Neither of them called 911. You were being dramatic. Cameron said Cameron was wrong. The medical records prove it. Respiratory failure, ICU admission, 2 minutes without oxygen. Want to see the documentation? She didn't have an answer for that. Your father is in the hospital, she said, voice shaking. He's scared. He's asking for you. And you won't even come? He was home when I stopped breathing. I was scared. I was dying. He told me to stop being dramatic. That's completely different. How? Because he's actually sick. You were just having an asthma attack. I almost laughed. An asthma attack that stopped my breathing. That's not just anything. You're being cruel and petty, and I don't even recognize you anymore. Good. The person you knew spent years trying to earn your attention. This person knows better. We loved you. We treated you like family. You treated Cameron like family. You treated me like an inconvenience with a prescription drug problem. How dare you? I have to go, Linda. I have actual patients to see. People who appreciate being saved. I hung up. The phone rang again immediately. I turned it off. I went back to work. Saw 3 patients that afternoon. All routine. Asthma follow-ups. Med adjustments. Easy cases. At 6 p.m. I turned my phone back on. 17 missed calls. 23 text messages. And 1 notification that made me pause. Cameron had posted on Facebook. I opened it. The post was public. Posted 2 hours ago. Already had 43 comments. My brother Ethan is a doctor. Today our father had a heart attack. Ethan refused to help. Hung up on him. Wouldn't even come to the hospital. What kind of doctor does that? What kind of person does that? I stared at the screen. He'd actually done it. Put me on blast publicly. The comments were rolling in. That's horrible. Doctors take an oath. Your poor father. What's wrong with your brother? Then I scrolled down. Someone I didn't recognize had commented, maybe ask Cameron why his brother won't help. Cameron had replied, there is no excuse for this. The stranger responded, "Really? Want to tell everyone what happened on October 14th, 2016? I looked at the profile. Rachel Chen, Mrs. Chen's granddaughter. We'd been friends in high school. She'd posted a follow-up comment. Since Cameron won't tell you, when Ethan was 16, he had a severe asthma attack. Stopped breathing, turned blue. Their dad was home. Cameron told their dad Ethan was faking for attention. Dad believed him. Neither called 911. My grandmother, their neighbor, saw through the window, ran over, called 911, and did rescue breathing. Paramedics said 2 more minutes and Ethan would be dead. Cameron and his dad just watched, never apologized. But sure, Ethan's the bad guy here. The comments shifted immediately. Holy cow, is this true? Cameron, what the actual... You let your brother almost die? I sat there, phone in hand, watching it unfold. Part of me wanted to delete Facebook, stay out of it. But another part, the part that had been silent for 12 years, wanted to speak. I opened the comment section, started typing. Since this is apparently public now, yes, what Rachel said is true. I have the medical records to prove it. October 14th, 2016. Severe asthma exacerbation with respiratory failure. ICU admission. Here's what happened. I laid it out, clinically, factually. Empty inhaler. Asked Dad for help. Cameron said I was faking. Dad believed him. I passed out. Mrs. Chen saved me. Dad's hospital comment. Glad you're okay. No apology, ever. Then I added, when Dad called today having a heart attack, I told him the same thing Cameron told him about me. You're faking for attention. Then I hung up. The ambulance got there. He's fine, just like I was fine. No thanks to either of them. I posted it. Then I did something I'd been keeping for 12 years. I uploaded a photo, the discharge papers from 2016, with the diagnosis, the severity markers, the documentation, and a photo of the 3 inhalers they'd sent me home with, the ones I still kept in a drawer. Captioned, evidence. The post exploded. Within an hour, it had 200 comments, then 500. Then someone shared it, then someone else. By 8 p.m., it had been shared 300 times. The comments were overwhelmingly on my side. Holy cow, your family is toxic. Cameron, you should be ashamed. This is horrifying. Ethan, you did the right thing. Family isn't an excuse for abuse. But some defended them. Family forgives. 2 wrongs don't make a right. You're a doctor, you should help regardless. I responded to 1. I help people every day. People who would help their own children. People who call 911 when someone says they can't breathe. People who apologize when they're wrong. My father is none of those things. Cameron tried to delete his original post. Too late. Screenshots everywhere. He posted again. This is a private family matter. Ethan is twisting things. Our dad made a mistake 12 years ago. He's sorry. Stop attacking our family. I commented. He's never apologized. Not once. Not in 12 years. He blamed me for not having my inhaler. But sure, he's sorry now that he needs something. Rachel commented again. I was there at the hospital. I visited Ethan every day. Your dad came once. You didn't come at all. You were too busy with football. Don't rewrite history. The family group chat, the one I'd muted years ago, was losing its mind. Aunt Marie. What is happening? Uncle Tom. Ethan, is this true? Cousin Jessica. I had no idea. Dad's sister sent me a private message. Ethan, I'm so sorry. We didn't know. Your father told us you were fine, that it was just a minor attack. We had no idea you almost died. I responded, because nobody asked. Nobody checked. Everyone just believed Dad. By 10 p.m., Cameron had deleted all his posts, but the damage was done. The screenshots were everywhere. Someone had even made it into a Reddit thread. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Texts from relatives I hadn't spoken to in years. Is this real? Did your dad really let you stop breathing? Why didn't you tell anyone? I turned off my phone again, sat in my quiet house, alone, and felt nothing. Not satisfaction, not anger, not vindication, just exhaustion. The truth was out there now, after 12 years. But it didn't change anything. Dad was still in the hospital. Still alive. Still hadn't apologized. Cameron was still making excuses. Still defending him. And I was still the son who'd been told he was faking while he died. The next morning, I got an email. From a lawyer. Subject: defamation concern. I opened it. It was from Dad's attorney, threatening legal action for public defamation and intentional infliction of emotional distress. I forwarded it to my own lawyer, a friend from med school who specialized in medical malpractice. She called me 20 minutes later. "Ethan, this is bullshit. You posted medical facts. You have documentation. This isn't defamation, it's truth. Do you want me to respond?" "Yeah. Tell them I have 12 years of medical records, hospital documentation, witness testimony from Mrs. Chen, and I'm happy to make all of it public if they want to pursue this." "You got it." She sent a response that afternoon. I never heard from Dad's lawyer again. But I did hear from someone unexpected. Dr. Sarah Kim, the pulmonologist who'd treated me 12 years ago. She sent a LinkedIn message. "Ethan, I saw the posts circulating. I still have your medical records from 2016. If you need them for anything, let me know. What happened to you was neglect. Borderline criminal. I documented it at the time. I'm so sorry your family failed you. I'm proud of who you've become." I saved that message because it was the first time someone from that day had said the words that mattered. Your family failed you. Not, it was a misunderstanding. Not, everyone makes mistakes. Your family failed you. And they did. 3 days after Dad's heart attack, I got a text from an unknown number. "This is your father. I'm being discharged tomorrow. I'd like to talk. Please." I didn't respond. He tried again. "I know you're angry. I understand. But I almost died. Doesn't that matter?" I stared at that message for a long time. Then I typed, "I actually almost died. Didn't matter to you." His response came immediately. "That was different." "How?" No response. I blocked the number. A week later, the Facebook drama had died down. The posts were still there. The screenshots still circulated. But the comments had slowed. Life went back to normal. I went to work, saved lives, came home. And when my phone rang with unknown numbers, I didn't answer. Because some bridges don't need rebuilding, some distances are healthy, and some apologies come too late, even when they finally come at all. 6 months after Dad's heart attack, I ran into him at the grocery store, produce section. I was picking out apples, turned the corner. There he was. Older, grayer, thinner. The heart attack had aged him. We both froze. "Ethan." "Dad." Silence. Shoppers moving around us. Muzak playing overhead. Normal Tuesday afternoon. Nothing about this was normal. "How are you?" he asked. "Fine. I've been trying to reach you." "I know." More silence. He looked at my cart. Vegetables. Meal prep containers. The organized life of someone who has their shit together. "You look good," he said. "Thanks." "Work going well?" "Yeah." This was excruciating. Small talk with a stranger who happened to share my DNA. "Ethan, can we talk? Really talk?" "We are talking." "You know what I mean." I looked at him. Really looked. Saw the desperation. The hope that maybe, somehow, I'd forgive everything. "What do you want to say, Dad?" "I'm sorry. For that day. For not believing you. For all of it." "Okay." He blinked. "Okay. I accept your apology." Relief flooded his face. "So we can—" "I accept your apology. That doesn't mean I forgive you." The relief died. "What's the difference?" "Apology is you feeling better. Forgiveness is me letting you back in." "Not happening." "Ethan, I almost died." "So did I. Difference is, I was 16 and you were supposed to protect me." "I made a mistake." "You made a choice. You chose to believe Cameron over me. You chose not to call 911. You chose to blame me for not having my inhaler instead of apologizing for watching me suffocate. A woman with a shopping cart squeezed past us. We stepped aside. I can't change the past, Dad said quietly. No, you can't. So what? We just never talk again? Maybe. I don't know. But right now? Yeah, that's where we are. I'm your father. Biologically, he flinched. I raised you. You fed me and gave me a room. That's not raising. That's housing. That's not fair. You want to know what's not fair? I save lives every day. Kids with asthma, parents terrified their child will stop breathing, and I give them what I needed from you. Immediate help. Belief, care, things you couldn't be bothered with. I did care. You cared when it was convenient, when Cameron wasn't more important, when it didn't interrupt your TV show. Silence. What can I do? His voice cracked. To fix this? Nothing. There's nothing you can do. 12 years too late for that. So I'm just supposed to live with this? I've lived with it for 12 years. Your turn. I grabbed an apple, put it in my cart. I have to go. Ethan, please. Take care of yourself, Dad. I walked away. He didn't follow. 1 year after the heart attack, I got an email. Subject: please read. From Dad. I almost deleted it. But curiosity won. Ethan, I know I don't deserve your time. I know I have no right to ask for anything. But I'm writing this because I need you to know something. I'm dying. Really dying this time. COPD, heart failure. The doctors say 6 months, maybe less. I'm not asking for help. I'm not asking you to visit. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know you were right about everything. I failed you when you needed me most. I believed Cameron because it was easier than admitting my son was in danger. I blamed you because taking responsibility was too hard. I told myself you were fine, that you were dramatic, that you'd turned out okay, so it didn't matter. But it did matter. It mattered then, and it matters now. I'm sorry I didn't call 911. I'm sorry I didn't believe you. I'm sorry I never apologized until it was too late. You don't owe me a response. You don't owe me anything. I just needed you to know that I see it now. What I did. What I didn't do. You deserved better. I'm sorry I couldn't be better. Dad? I read it twice. Then I closed the email. Didn't respond. Didn't delete it either. Just left it there. Unread status removed. Acknowledged but not answered. Because some apologies don't deserve responses. Some bridges stay burned. And some distances are exactly right. 18 months after Dad's heart attack, I was at my free asthma clinic. I ran it every other Saturday. Free inhalers, free education, free breathing treatments. For families who couldn't afford the 300 plus for medications. For kids who needed help. For parents who gave a shit. That day, an 8-year-old girl came in. Severe asthma, poor family. Single mom working 2 jobs. The girl was scared, wheezing, confused why breathing was so hard. I knelt down to her level. Hey, I'm Dr. Morrison. I'm going to help you feel better, okay? She nodded. I have asthma too. Had it since I was your age. I know it's scary. But we're going to fix this. I gave her a breathing treatment. Taught her how to use her inhaler. Gave her mom a 6-month supply. Backup inhalers. Peak flow meter. Written action plan. All free. The mom started crying. Thank you. I couldn't afford. I didn't know what to do. You brought her here. That's what matters. You got her help. How much do I owe you? Nothing. This clinic is free. Just make sure she uses her inhaler every day. And if she ever says she can't breathe, you call 911 immediately. Don't wait. Don't second guess. Just call. I will. I promise. They left. The girl breathing easier. The mom relieved. I cleaned up the exam room, restocked supplies. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. I ignored it. Finished my shift. Locked up the clinic. Drove home. At a stoplight, I checked my phone. The text was from Cameron. Dad died last night. Funeral is Saturday. Thought you should know. I stared at the message. Felt nothing. Not grief, not relief, not satisfaction, just nothing. The light turned green. I put my phone down, kept driving, got home, made dinner, watched TV, went to bed. Saturday came. The funeral was at 2 p.m. I worked my clinic that morning, saw 6 patients, saved 3 from ER visits. At 2 p.m., I was teaching a mother how to recognize silent chest in her son. At 3 p.m., I was refilling prescriptions. At 4 p.m., I was locking up. I didn't go to the funeral, didn't send flowers, didn't call Cameron, just went home. Because here's what I'd learned over 12 years. Family isn't who shares your blood. It's who shows up when you're dying. Dad had his chance to show up. He chose not to. So when his time came, I made the same choice. And I slept perfectly fine with that. 2 years after Dad's heart attack, 1 year after his death, I got a promotion. Head of pulmonology. $320,000 salary. My own department. I celebrated with my girlfriend Sarah, ICU nurse. We'd been dating 8 months. She knew the whole story. Dad, Cameron, October 14th, 2016. She'd never pushed me to reconcile. Never said, but he's your father. Just supported my boundaries. That night, over dinner, she asked, "Do you ever regret it? Not seeing him before he died?" I thought about it honestly. No. I regret that he died without learning, without changing. But I don't regret protecting myself. That's fair. He had 12 years to apologize, to acknowledge what he did. He waited until he was dying. That's not remorse. That's fear. You think he was scared? I think he realized too late that actions have consequences, even for parents. She squeezed my hand. You're a good person. You save lives every day. I save people who want to be saved, people who show up for their kids, people who call 911 when someone says they can't breathe. And your dad wasn't those things. No, he wasn't. We finished dinner, went home, watched a movie. Normal life, peaceful life. The life I'd built without him. 3 years after hanging up on Dad, I was training a new resident. Young kid, 26, eager, smart. We were treating a teenager, 16, severe asthma attack. The kid was scared, parents terrified. I walked the resident through it. Albuterol, oxygen, steroids, peak flow measurements. The kid stabilized, started breathing easier. The dad grabbed my hand. Thank you so much. I didn't know what to do. He said he couldn't breathe and I panicked. You did exactly right. You brought him here. You got help immediately. I was so scared. That's because you care. That fear? That's love. He started crying. His wife hugged him. The kid looked embarrassed but relieved. After they left, the resident asked, "You're really good with families. How'd you learn that?" "Experience," I said. "I know what it's like to be that 16-year-old who can't breathe." "Yeah?" "Yeah. Bad asthma attack when I was his age. Nearly died. Scary." It was. But I learned something important. What? The difference between parents who show up and parents who don't. He nodded. Didn't ask for details. Just understood. We moved on to the next patient. That night, I went home to my house. Small, comfortable, peaceful. On my wall, my medical degree, my board certifications, photos with Sarah, no photos of Dad, no photos with Cameron, just me, my achievements, my life. I made dinner, called Sarah, told her about my day, saved 3 kids from intubation today. That's amazing. Just doing my job. You're good at your job. I had good motivation, wanted to make sure no 16-year-old ever feels what I felt. Mission accomplished. We talked for an hour, made plans for the weekend, hung up. I sat on my couch. Quiet house. Calm mind. My phone didn't ring with family drama. No guilt texts, no manipulation, no demands. Just peace. The peace that comes from knowing your worth. From setting boundaries. From understanding that some people don't deserve access to your life, even when they're dying. especially when they're dying. Because the time to show up isn't when you're scared. It's when someone else is. Dad had his chance on October 14th, 2016. He chose not to take it. So when he called 12 years later, gasping for help, begging for mercy, I gave him exactly what he'd given me. Nothing. And I'd do it again. Every single time. Because some lessons are worth 12 years. And some people learn too late that indifference, like asthma, can be fatal. The difference? Asthma can be treated. Indifference can't. And I'm finally, completely, perfectly okay with that.